In a food processor, you're going to add your flour, powdered sugar, your regular sugar, your baking soda, your salt, and we're going to pulse this. We want to keep the butter as cold as possible, and we also want to have it in small pieces. So what I would recommend doing is cutting them in half, hold them on their sides, and then we can turn them. Just cut them into smaller pieces. It doesn't have to be anything real exact. We're going to add our pieces of butter into our mixture. And we're going to pulse this until we have small pieces. We keep pulsing it until it has a crumbly texture like this, and now we're going to be adding our vanilla. We're going to add our teaspoon of vanilla, and then we are going to pulse this for 5-second intervals until the dough starts coming together. You know you're done with the food processor when it actually starts forming into the ball like this. So now we can take this out, and we're going to divide it into 6 equal portions. So I'm just going to pat this down, make it a rectangle. And then you can use a bench scraper or any other tool of your choice. Cut that in half. We'll cut these in thirds. If you have a scale, you can weigh out the entire amount of dough and then divide it by 6 so that you have equal portions. Otherwise, just estimate it. Time to color our dough. Whether you go with gels or if you go with the liquid, it really is going to depend on what you have on hand at home. I'm going to be working with both because I don't have any red gel, so I'm going to be working with the liquid. We'll see how that goes. And then for the yellow, so the gel is going to be more concentrated than the liquid, so you won't have to use as much, but we might also have to compensate with a little bit extra flour with this one, just so that we can get the right consistency when we're rolling it out. You can add as little or more of the coloring depending on how much you have, but again, just remember that you are going to have to compensate with the amount of flour used, depending on how much liquid you're using. So we have about a teaspoon's worth of color, and then I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of flour to this, and then we're going to mix it with the straddle attachment. For each color, it should have the consistency of Play-Doh, and if you have to knead it a little bit to get that color incorporated in. Don't have the rainbow? Who cares? Make whatever colors you want. This is you.
Remember, the amount of food coloring you add will depend on how saturated your color will be in the end.
If you have gloves, amazing. But if you don't, no biggie. Using the gloves for this one because this purple color is going to be a beast. Oh my.
It could be crumbly bumbly, but we will knead it until it turns into a solid. Feel free to wash your bowl in between if it starts looking like the Crayola man threw up all over.
Take each ball of dough and you're going to roll the first one into a cylinder. This is going to be at the center. It's about a 10-inch piece.
You're going to roll your next color also into a cylinder, but you're going to take the rolling pin and roll it down so it's about a 1/4 inch thick and can wrap around the original center color.
Now we can take our purple one and we're going to wrap the blue around it. Don't worry if it's not perfect. 2 things can come of it not being perfect. Number 1, it could look like a tie-dye when we cut into it, and number 2, it's going to taste good and they're going to be cute, so don't worry. We're going to repeat with the remaining colors. If it starts to stick, you can always sprinkle a little flour on top and then continue rolling.
Now you're going to wrap this color around the last color.
Once you've begun
also do is you can combine different colors. So it's more of a tie-dye look than a straight up rainbow. So I can take this turquoisey color, and I can take my red, we can twist it, and then we can roll it out to make it something of your own. So pretend that it is Play-Doh and do whatever you want.
Adding the colors in a non-uniform way will create that tie-dye look to it.
So depending on how you put it together, it could be a single color on the outside or it could be like patchwork. And what we're going to do is roll this in parchment. And also use this to make sure that we're rounding off the sides as we go. And you can either refrigerate this for 3 hours or you can pop it in the freezer.
Using a sharp knife, you want to cut the pieces into 1/4 inch thick discs. If you would like to make a rainbow and actually went for that, you would just cut it in half. But as tie-dye, it's just going to be a half circle.
About 12 to 15 minutes, they should be set, and we can allow them to cool so they will harden as they cool.